WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Good morning, Keon. Good morning, Carby. Good morning, Michelle. I know Michelle's working, but good morning, everybody, and thank you all.
Good morning, bro.
Hey, before you, Michelle, somebody said catfish. You done told on me.
I thought about not that I ever do this a lot, but I thought about you yesterday, Keon. Someone pointed out
what?
I thought he was gonna say, "Yo, think a lot."
Right.
Like the text I got from DJ saying that I'm not doing a perspective today because I didn't wake up. Then who sent this text if you didn't wake up? But someone was asking me, was asking one of the musicians after church yesterday, had they heard this song? It's by this gospel group, and it's called Peanut Butter and Jelly. Have you heard that?
Nope. The gospel song, Peanut Butter and Jelly.
Yeah, and I hadn't. And what it is from what she told me, I didn't go and pull it up, but what she told me was that a little boy had come home and told his mom he was hungry. And she gave him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And like I was at that age, he went down with the peanut butter and jelly. So there's this whole song about how you should appreciate what you got. But it's called Peanut Butter and Jelly. I'd never heard of it. But
why is that starting to sound familiar? Why am I thinking Shirley Caesar or something?
Yeah, it was a gospel group. So it could have been. Yeah, it was. So anyway, with that said, hey, phone lines are open. I'm expecting a phone call, but until the phone line's open, 414. The Truthets. Exactly. And let me, and again, Keon, I thought about you again, bro.
And the last days, now I almost died already.
Leave the world behind.
20 a month ago. Leave the world behind. Lord.
This is the end.
Oh, that's a real one from 1983, the Truthets. So that's right when gospel was, that was serious gospel.
And then I was listening. They do something on Sirius on Kurt Franklin on Saturday morning. It's called The Crossover. And what they do is they do, I hate to use this term, but they use secular music, gospel music's kind of, and they played a song Saturday called Walking in Jesus' Name by a young Sylvester Stewart. He's like 12 years old. Sly. Is that that kind of, no, okay. It's called Walking in Jesus' Name by Sly Stone, but he was like 12 when he did this.
Was he high? He seen Jesus up in the upper room. He was higher than Hubble.
12.
He was like 12, 13.
Until he said 12. Other than that, I was wondering, how did he see Jesus? was he up in the sky?
No, walking in Jesus' name.
Uh,
That's the name of the song. So
Was it good?
it was interesting. It was one of those old, I mean, it's like an old, like traditional song. I'm assuming when I listened to it. But yeah, Young Sly
ain't no
Stone.
different from listening to George Clinton sing "Open Our Eyes." I guess.
right.
Be like what?
Right.
George.
Carl, welcome to the program.
Hey, what's up, Keith?
What's
Good
up,
people.
Hey man.
Hey, I got a problem, man. I heard that the Super Bowl leaked out, and it's going to be the Baltimore and the 49ers. I heard they're already doing advertising and everything. And if that's true, man, I don't know how I'm going to like football again. Just check it out. I heard the rumor is. Peace.
All right, I appreciate that. Well, they are the two best teams in football. So if you go on the likelihood of who's going to make it, it looks like it's going to be Baltimore and it's going to be San Francisco. Though I'm not so certain about Baltimore because Kansas City, I got to get Daryl Fortune in. Kansas City played well yesterday against Buffalo. And poor Buffalo, hard luck Buffalo, man. How about that? Wide right again. So it was a great weekend. If you wanted to do sports this weekend, all of the NFL playoff games were competitive. Baltimore kind of pulled away at the end, but real good weekend. And look, hey, the Packers was in that game. Did you see that, Michelle? Packers was in that game all the way to the end. If they could have stopped the drive. This dude Carlson. Oh God, you gotta hit the. Oh my God, this dude has been a crazy. He's the kicker. But Packers have look. Let's be honest. The Packers far exceeded expectations this year, and the fact that they were able to get to the second round of NFL playoffs, that says a whole lot. They're actually a pretty good team. Yesterday's message at church was on wisdom and how one only gets wisdom through experience. And you heard people. So the fact that this is the first time they're there, hopefully they've gained a lot of experience. So they make that run next year to be able to do it. Now, experience doesn't always work because Buffalo has not figured out a way to beat Kansas City. So, but it was all good. So next weekend we have the Ravens versus the Chiefs, and then we have the Lions, who cares, versus the 49ers. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. It was interesting you having this discussion. I know you're working, but I'll just talk out loud. You were having a discussion with Senator Baldwin about this idea, and I was thinking, because I know the Republicans, there are some who want to do a national abortion ban. And then I'm wondering then what the counter legislation is for the Democrats. Is it unfettered access to abortions? Is it because we allow
it literally is the bill that Senator Baldwin is trying to get done. That you would not have some of the restrictions and the parameters that individual states are trying to get done. She introduced this, I think, in 2022, the Women's Health Protection Act, and it literally that is the answer. But trying to get the votes for it.
I guess what I meant, not knowing the particulars of that bill, is it then that the woman would have unfettered access to an abortion even into the third trimester?
I mean, I think most people are going to, it's going to be a compromise. So if you finally were able to get Republicans to the table to be able to come up with this, a solution that was palatable to each side, there would be some restrictions. It wouldn't just be a blanket, unfettered access. I mean, because right now, even with Roe, we didn't have a blanket, situation. States were still able to come in and put in their own parameters.
And that's the issue, the whole states' rights issue.
Right. So
when I was hearing that, because Wisconsin is talking now a 14th week.
Wait, so I said Buffalo should have put OJ in.
That's not too soon. It's not too soon to do an OJ and Buffalo.
That's not
too soon for that.
I'm sorry. It just popped up, and I'm like, They should have put who in the game? They should have put OJ in the game.
And
Okay,
you
go
gotta,
ahead.
it gotta be tough. And you know,
Look, don't get off track. Don't get off subject, because
okay.
because it's easy to.
But the whole states' rights issue is kind of what the issue was before.
I mean, it's always been an issue. It's an issue on everything, even like what is happening. I haven't talked about at great length on our show. On my show. But what Texas is doing at
See,
the
we
border.
might do that. Y'all hear that Freudian slip?
Oh, that hour show.
Did
Yeah.
you hear that Freudian slip?
the panel, the squad. We're gonna have a show.
We gotta come up with a name for it.
Yeah, look.
Can't do a show without a name. Well, you were nameless for how many years?
Oh my God, it was sad.
All right, go on,
'Cause I
I'm
don't care about that stuff. But what Texas is doing, by being able to basically act like their states' rights usurp the federal government, and so not allowing government marshals to get access to where these immigrants were, ended up drowning, and they got to fight with Texas. So some of the states can take it too far. Like, you just need to go ahead and seed and be your own little country and not use any of our resources. But you want it both ways. You want to have access to the resources, but still be able to, be 100% self-governing, which is crazy. But I don't know that we ever get to a national ban that is completely open-ended with no parameters. I just don't think that in terms of compromise and the way government works, you'll get both people to the table and come away with that. It'll be a compromise.
But now, first of all, I think Roe was decided on this idea of privacy, right? I think
Right.
that was and though you had people like Clarence Thomas who
And was
argued-
literally foundational for a ton of other rights that we now enjoy
Right.
and have had. So it was,
even though the Constitution does not specifically codify this idea of right to privacy,
right.
but that's what it was. Basically, what you were saying is this idea that people should have control over their bodies.
Absolutely.
414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. What I find really amazing is who is making the most noise when it comes to abortion and the banning of abortion, and it's white men. It's white men predominantly. I'm not saying that there are not women involved, but it's predominantly white men. And that should send up red flags in terms of, because we hear people try to make this argument like it's some moral issue. Really, but the same people who would say that we should protect the right of a child are the same people who have no problems going to war and killing children, which puts us at Gaza now where 25,000 people lost their lives. The vast majority of them are non-combatants, women and children. Okay.
And elderly.
So, and this, you were saying about, I'm not worried about, let's be very, very micro. I'm not concerned about the black people who show up to the poll who might vote this way or that way. The difference in Wisconsin for the last two general elections, presidential elections, have been people not showing up to the polls.
Right.
That could be the margin of victory. It was the margin of victory in 2016, right? The number of people who didn't show up. And what I'm saying is, for a lot of people, I'm with you. The person who calls in here yicking and yakking, but then you don't even bother to go vote. I mean, you didn't go vote for the guy you sent up here supporting, right? I think that becomes important. And so that becomes the challenge, which gets us to, I think, perception is people's reality. People, when they look at Joe Biden, right or wrong, the perception is he's old. When we look at Donald Trump, the perception is he's stupid. So it's kind of like, what do you do? And so this idea of you taking John Kerry, who's going to leave as climate ambassador, to become to work with the Biden campaign. I think the Biden campaign needs to have younger people as part of the face of their campaign. No disrespect. I mean, it is, whether we think it's right or wrong, I say it all the time.
Well, you're right, because the example is Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders is 1,000 years old. but you had young collegiate
I don't think anybody on the
students.
staff over 25.
Right. Yeah. Which might be why he's sitting at home.
But I'm just saying
But you gotta have a balance.
You gotta have a balance.
But young people, they got no. That's why this whole age argument falls hollow for me, because they was all breaking their neck to vote for this old crotchety man from, where's he from? Vermont. Is it no Bernie?
Vermont. He's from
Vermont. Like the least in touch state in the whole country. Like what's going on in Vermont that this needs to be the leader of the free world? No slight against Bernie, but so that's why the age thing doesn't ring true for me. Now, yes, you can say, oh, he, proliferated his campaign with younger faces and, people were hip and trendy, but at the end of the day, it was still going to be crotchety old Bernie Sanders that was making the actual decisions. So I don't understand how it was okay for this old guy, but it's not okay for this old guy.
Because perception.
I get you.
No,
and I get you. I say this all the time. Perception is reality in a lot of cases. But I'm just saying the double standard here.
Let's keep talking. Go on, man.
I was going to say, mic's off. I tell you that. I tell you the other day, y'all thought something wrong. Y'all forgot who won it. What is crotchety?
Look it up.
Yeah. What is crotchety?
What did your mama tell you to do?
No. Some words ain't there. Crotchety. I don't know. Crotchety or crotchety.
Because it's not crotchety.
And to be fair, because I think
it's crotchety.
So let me ask, and I guess we have to start crunching some numbers. When we look at the, it would be the millenniums, right?
So wait, crotchety. I say crotchety because that's the way my mama said it, but it's crotchety.
Okay, what is that?
Someone who's difficult, irritable, and ornery.
I'm crotchety.
I didn't see old anywhere in that description.
I said old and crotchety.
I didn't hear it. That's why I said I didn't hear it.
I didn't just
say
crotchety.
Mean
I said old and crotchety.
But old is not part of the
that's
crotchety.
Like mean and
no, crotchety is its own word.
So
that's why I use it independently.
You could be.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You could be 13
and be crotchety.
And then crotchety.
Yeah. So, but it's crotchety. I say crotchety.
Crotchety.
Because that's the way my mama said it.
Okay.
That my grandfather was old and crotchety.
Call welcome to the program. Oh, he left. Okay. Okay. No, I think it is. I'm going like, dude, you can't. Look, I say it all the time. I don't want to sing in the senior choir with my grandmother. Right?
Why not? But you got to get singing in the senior choir with your grandmama. Can your grandmama blow? Is your grandmama Shirley Caesar? Because if my grandmama is Shirley Caesar, I'm in the senior choir with Shirley Caesar. Is my grandmama Mahalia Jackson? I'm in the senior choir with my grandmama. There are qualifiers, bruh. If your grandma is just regular grandma with peppermint in her purse, then nah, you may not be want to sing with her.
But that's what we talking about. Michelle ain't nobody talking about no Mahalia Jackson.
It's Shirley Caesar.
No, Shirley
somebody's
Caesar.
grandmama is Mahalia Jackson. Somebody's grandmama is Shirley Caesar.
Mahalia Jackson. They're in the stratosphere. They wouldn't even be in the choir.
And Joe Biden is in the stratosphere of his own as well. Thank you for making my points. Thank you very much.
You listen to Community Voice. The phone line's open. 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. Go take a break. We'll be right back.
Amen. Amen.
Sing that over the damn song.
CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
To come unto me and forbid them not.
Won't you come?
A letter about Christian experience.
The doors are wide open.
Won't you please?
Won't you please come? I don't want no peanut butter and jelly. I want to be saved.
Now, you know that song, Keith, is not about peanut butter.
Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, man.
Hey. Good morning.
Caroline.
All right.
Caroline.
That's a nice little song.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Want
I
my
don't
soul
want
to
no
be
peanut
saved.
butter and jelly. I just want my soul to be
See,
saved.
you know what I said? That's one of them 80s gospels. That's right up
Right.
there with, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody.
The question is, good morning, caller.
Will I? Yeah, that was a decade, wasn't it?
It was I that called a few minutes ago. Takia, my name is Red Suit. Takia, my name is Chris.
Oh, this the red suit?
Yeah, I was calling in to give you the song that you just played.
Oh, the red suit piano player on Sunday.
That's me.
What's that, Chris?
I'm blue suit yesterday, technically.
You had on a blue suit.
Yesterday, yeah.
Oh, you was cripping in the church. You gonna sing the hey, listen, Chris be bleeding when he be in there. So I'm assuming he was ice cold yesterday. You can sing the second verse if you want to.
What's up, man?
Oh, nothing. I was about to say, you said no peanut butter and jelly. I knew it was it.
Hey, Chris, you got us on your speaker, man, so take us off the speaker.
Okay.
All right. That's better.
No, it ain't.
Hello?
I'll get back to you.
Oh, okay. All right, we be here.
Hey, boy, hey, Chris he be feeling it. Michelle said
That song is kind of staying with me. Thank you, sister, for me. Do. Oh, man, that is nice.
you
414.
gonna make me play that question is.
Oh wait, let me go. I
will
need to go
leave
see who this
you.
is that just got buried at Pitts today. So I can see who was
Oh,
in
yeah.
this.
Who's?
Y'all, we just had tell
So
them
shout out. I know he's listening to Brother Nate Luckett, the good folks there at New Pitch Mortuary.
Michelle them is known for that. They done brought that to the hood because folks, it's a lot of folks don't need horses and carriage that be getting horses and carriage.
I mean, that horse and carriage with
Beautiful.
those horses, white horses, were
You
absolutely
know what was sweet?
beautiful.
They met up at for Willie Wade's for the end of the funeral. They loaded Willie Wade Sr., the uncle. He had a horse and carriage at the store at Wade's, and they marched him through the neighborhood. I was like, that was beautiful. And take him to the cemetery.
I just received a text that Shalom family. A better comparison would be, would you send Joe Montana out to lead this 2024 49ers team against the 2024 Lions team? He was a great quarterback back with
Not even the
unparalleled.
same.
Can I finish reading it?
Not
Can I
even the
finish
same.
reading it?
Not even the same. Apples and oranges comparison.
Can I finish reading it?
You can say that attitude. I know that's what you can do. I know.
You better fix your mind, child.
I know. You can reel that
I'm reading
attitude.
here.
You
I'm
can
reading here.
You can reel that attitude
Hold on,
in.
Michelle, I
I
got
know
a bag
that.
of nickels over here. You want to hit him and
Act
make
like-
him change his
You see
mind?
me over here reading.
Who the hell you talking to? With all that bass in your voice.
You see me over here talking.
Hey, I ain't heard that one. Hey, you better take some of that bass out your voice.
She was just like, excuse me? Excuse me?
Like, look here.
As I was saying,
Oh, wait. Let me say this real quick before I go. Khalil got in trouble while he was here.
no, he didn't.
So Khalil mom was fussing about something. And I mean, she was like getting at him. And Khalil, and like she was there, she started metering out like what the punishment was gonna be. Khalil said, what the
Oh.
what is it? The word didn't come out. Just the tip of the little man. I thought his mom was gonna kill him. Oh my god. I was like, what did you do?
Did you get all about sneaking out
No.
during the snowstorm?
Who?
Is that who was sneaking out there in the snowstorm? Because I know you had his back.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah. Now, wait a minute.
No, Kayla snuck out during the snowstorm. Kayla.
Where'd he go?
Kayla. His mother's name is Kayla.
Oh,
she tried to blame her for not being able to handle the snow in the Jeep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, go on with your little comparison. Your non-comparison.
Thank you for not disparaging it. He was a great quarterback back when Unparalleled talking about Joe Montana, depth of knowledge, but he's too old to perform at the level required. Although I do believe politics is a different arena. Fact is, Biden is slipping. We always slipping. But he is better than the alternative. Trump will usher in the judgment of, oh man, he'd have got all biblical now. Trump will usher in the judgment on the U.S. Western civilization. But you know what? It seems far-fetched. It is not that far-fetched. And just saw a report that NPR did in Germany. They have right now, there's a German far-right party is polling higher than the three parties in government currently now.
Yeah, it's been happening all over the country.
Right. And
but they're gonna try to catch their own Brexit though.
Yeah, but but the policy that they're talking about now is kicking out all non-European,
basically all immigrants, all
non-Germans.
I mean, like we literally are seeing this unfold all over the country where, I mean, the gloves are off. People just straight coming for folks. And this was the thing though, because when they said like kicking out all non-Germans. So if I'm a naturalized citizen of Germany, because I'm saying while they're saying Germans, at some point they're going to be trying to kick the black folks out of Germany because everything is about this purist, chain of white blood. And you're seeing this play out everywhere.
Okay. Now, there's a guy who is a German politician, part of this right-wing movement. And here's a quote for him. They want to destroy our homeland, she told voters at a campaign event last month. They want to ban our pork knuckles, our bratwurst, our schnitzel. Well, I'll promise you one thing. They will not take away my schnitzel. As it turns out, the AfD, which is, what is it? Something for Germany. It's so it turned out the AfD has more serious priorities beyond protecting schnitzel.
Gotta protect,
and that's what's where, And I think that when they start talking about
the AfD is the alternative for Germany party.
Yep. And so, and I guess the D, just so you know, means Deutsch.
Like Deutsch.
Deutsch. Yep. And who are they talking about right now? They're talking about Muslims, right? Because Muslims don't eat pork. We should be concerned. And when the bigger issue with DEI, is obviously the whole idea of how do we achieve equity.
Keith's phone is going off.
Ron DeSantis is out? When did that happen?
Yesterday.
I knew that happened. He'd been out for the last 2 months.
All right.
So the reason why you do things like DEI is because it is it's this whole idea that you're giving people other than white people something that they don't deserve. Right? That's the whole thing. That's the popularity behind Trump, that you have people coming in who want to replace folks, particularly white folks. And so now you should be.
Which again is rich, considering his father was an illegal immigrant to this country. I mean, his grandfather was an illegal immigrant to this country.
Okay.
Could not go back to Germany because he fled Germany because he didn't want to participate in the, he didn't want to fight, and fled to the States and then tried to go back home and they wouldn't let him back in the country. But anyway.
So I think we need to be careful, and we need to be careful. I always say we have to be careful how we talk about subjects. There are some black folks. I don't know why black folks are threatened by immigrants. I'm still trying to figure that one out. But I don't know.
They get more respect than that
from the
government.
What do you mean?
They went and stole black folks and made them chattel, and they were what's the word?
Man, that was 150 years ago.
They ain't got nothing to do with it, and you still got more. You build what they say. We built the White House. We built it, then they called it the White House.
I mean, to the point that you're making, I think it's the same concept. The idea that somebody is getting something that I'm not getting.
But we were brought over as a commodity, though.
Yeah, so but I'm just saying,
the purpose, and then they just get to come over and get all rights. And
getting something we're not getting. You know, for the black
people, need to get over that,
they get better access to business loans, better access.
But once again,
employment.
It's more than just getting something we ain't getting. Is y'all beat us, whipped us, and killed us to build the country that never gave us no rights, and folks come over here and get to go to Ellis Island, and they get to go get shots and get the land of the free and the home of the brave, and y'all still down on us, and we built the land for you.
So that means that other people shouldn't come?
That means we not Ricky Ticky Tavi.
Was he speechless?
No, I wasn't speechless. I just cut him off. He won't get me today.
Stop him in his tracks.
No.
Because I've never seen I've never seen where he just
5.5 years. I'm
not going to respond. I've never seen
that.
What is the game?
I told you I seen the light. God,
January.
20 seconds.
Woo!
Well, I do it. This nigga here. I was trying not to do it.
It's not just, I mean, to make the argument that
that's the problem.
People shouldn't come. And then when you're talking about people who have that perception, let's differentiate between the people who are coming here right now, who are crossing the borders, as opposed to people who are immigrating here, who are going through, I want to use the word normal, would go through
the formal change to enter the country.
But these people are not coming here without the $500,000 they need in order to get those franchises, because when you look at, you have an enormous number of Indian immigrants who own gas stations, who own hotels, but you got to have the money. Government ain't giving you the money. You got to have the money. And so I think that that's the difference. Those people who are crossing the border, the southern border, are poor folks, right?
Look, again.
Hey, where you say the Chinese coming in at? We ain't talking about that border.
The Chinese?
The Chinese are coming in.
But the Chinese,
by the hundreds of thousands.
They're coming in at the southern border.
Yeah, it's unique because I think, isn't it the Exclusion Act still on the books?
I don't know.
If the Exclusion Act is not still on the books, it's still only 2% of the population in this country. That's your immigration quota. So for a particular country, it cannot exceed more than 2% of the current population from that country in terms of who's immigrating in. I think they just got rid of Chinese exclusion, which is very interesting because I don't know how many people are going to be immigrating from communist China. That would be more.
But there's tons. You know, I just did a story about the number of Chinese immigrants coming into the country illegally, and how while everybody keeps making Latino or Latin speaking people the face of immigration, that you have this other demographic which is just flying under the radar. And until you go and visit the border, you have no idea that all these Chinese people are coming into the U.S. illegally, which exactly is what's happening. But the only people we beat up on is the folks of, Latin speaking countries. But, because we believe the hype. And white people know Chinese people coming in, but ain't nobody saying nothing. They're not saying nothing.
And
why?
So when Nikki Haley says that America was never a racist country,
Nikki Haley is on.
Let me just give you the synopsis of what the Chinese Exclusion Act was. It was a United States federal law signed by President Chester A. Arthur on May 6, 1882, prohibiting all immigration of Chinese laborers for 10 years. The law made exceptions for merchants, teachers, students, travelers, and diplomats. The Chinese Exclusion Act was the first and only major U.S. law ever implemented to prevent all members of a specific national group from immigrating to the United States.
I mean, like Nikki Haley is stupid, and that whole argument.
And then, I've experienced racism.
It's like, come on, Nikki.
Well, where did it come from?
She's speaking to her base, though. I mean, she might honestly believe it.
It can't be her base, though.
Yeah, it's her base. Right. Why else would you be saying that?
Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning to you, brother. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I wasn't able to get a call in with that peanut butter song, but the reason why it's growing on you is because you got to remember something. That's the song in the field is that what is that? Love Jones by Brighter Side of Darkness. Ain't that who did Love Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what you're feeling in that song.
Is that what I'm feeling in the song?
That's what you're feeling. That's why it's growing.
I gotta love Jones. That's what I'm feeling in the song.
You're trying to identify that sound and the way the girl was talking, and and then the little dude was like a Michael Jackson back in them days. So anyway, man, when I called in, I hear people talking about this immigration movement. If you black in America and you don't see what's transpiring here, then you don't want to see, or you don't love who you is. And I hear people all the time talking about America, but it's their country because they have no other place to go. They don't have another place to dwell. Even if you went back to Africa, I mean, if you ain't got no real huge big money, you just gonna be walking around there playing games and really not going anywhere. This is home. And when I see people destroying their homes, I see not a wise person. Not a wise person at all, so not a wise person at all. And when you talk about Chinese and other immigrants coming into this country, that's definitely right. I mean, there are people that come in this country. There are certain European countries that don't even need a visa. They don't even need a green like Australia. They don't need Poland. They don't need nothing to come in here. They come right on in. I understand all of that. But when you look at these other groups that are coming in, they're not coming in with the magnitude force, okay? This is a force that's coming in here. I mean, 20,000.
How did Europeans? Why did Europeans? Let's be really particular. How did the Irish get here? Why do we have such an influx of Irish folks in the 1880s, 90s?
And guess what? Remember
why did the Irish come to America?
Well, they came there, I guess, looking for a better life. But
they came to escape famine.
They
escaped the famine that was going on in Ireland at that point.
Was it Irish? No, I don't know if it was Irish. Was it Poland immigrants? There was a big deportation of them people back in the 30s. I mean, they got put out of here, even down in Jones Island.
Not the Irish.
Was it the Polish?
No, the Polish were covered under that European where they limited the number, because I'm just looking here. The Chinese Exclusion Act was repealed by the 1943 Magnuson Act when China had become an ally of the U.S. The Magnuson Act permitted those people already living here to reside in the country become naturalized citizens, stop hiding from the threat of deportation, and then allow people to send money back to China. But hold on, here's the thing that was real interesting. However, the Magnuson Act only allowed a national quota of 105 Chinese immigrants per year.
Okay, wouldn't that be okay? I'm not. Hey, look here. Hey, man, look here. We were brought here to this country against our will, and we've been stripped from wherever we come from.
Yeah.
And guess what? This is home for us.
Yeah.
Now, the white boy is smart enough to know that this is his home. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was brought here as an illegal immigrant, anchor babies, whatever. Yeah. They came here, but they're smart enough to recognize this is home. And see, the reason why we're so apt to give away this spot, especially black people, because we haven't really, we've been taught that this ain't our home. But where else you gonna go? It's sort of like an adopted child, and I've talked about that before. But the thing is there's a movement coming here, man. And if you're not willing to do
what's the movement, Meech?
The movement is to blend us out,
Who's us?
Black folk, okay. To blend black. See, first of all, there's no more use for black folk here in this country. And if they can, and if white folk, and I'm gonna just be specific, if white folk can figure out a way to get rid of this loud mouth, feel entitled because we feel that there's a debt that should be paid, okay? And anything we do to the white man is justified because we feel that the debt hasn't been paid. So we can get rid of him. Sooner or later, we'll soon.
So you say we're going to get rid of the white man?
No. The white man is getting rid of the Negroes.
Oh,
that's his job.
Was there a meeting?
That's because hey, look here, man. we're screaming about an unpaid debt that he don't want to pay. Okay, so how else do you do it? You melt this person out, and you can do it. You can simply do it. Look at they did the Philistines like that. Ain't no more Philistines. Well, we could say some Palestinians like to claim themselves the heritage.
You're talking 2,000 years. What does that? What does that have to do with America
okay,
today?
Here's one for you. Look at the American Native man, the Indian that we call him. He's only 2% of the population. Now, the reason why he's only 2% of the population is because his bloodline is melting away. Because you know what they did? They took the poison. They took the acceptance of having these, reservations. Well, when you put a person on a reservation,
they were forced on the reservations, man. They were forced on the reservations. Look, this land was their land before any of us got here.
Okay, they were forced
here's our indigenous people policy. You push them on land, then somebody goes in and finds that there's some natural resource on the land, and then you move them from the land again. You know what I mean? They have violated most of the treaties.
Brother. You're talking now. You're going into something else. I'm talking about melting the people out of existence.
A lot of those people got wiped out when they first encountered Europeans from smallpox because they had no immunity to smallpox.
Keith,
that's how a lot of those people ended up dying.
You want to give me a history lesson, but I'm finna show you something. You want to give us a history lesson, but let me show you something.
Because the history is important, Meech.
It is, but I'm finna show you how you commit a genocide without firing a rifle, brother. They took the Indians, okay. They put on these reservations. Well, a reservation is 20 miles, maybe the size of Racine in some cases. Okay, those are reservations. Now, once you get on the reservation, there's so much inbreeding that can go on. Then you start to breed outside of the reservation, which is suburban area where you mix with the white man, where you thin your native man blood down. In 20 years, it might not even be a per cap Indian left to get that money because his bloodline is thin because there's so much inbreeding. So they breed outside of the red.
They're not inbreeding.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, how many times can you keep breeding before you run into your cousin?
I don't think indigenous people are trying to survive.
Okay, man.
Hold on, wait a minute, bro. Indigenous people are trying to survive. You know, it is just enough to be able to maintain, and they're more concerned about maintaining their native culture, right? Not to mention that the land has been stolen from them. I mean,
brother, are you not listening to what I'm saying? There's only 2% of the population, and it's on the decline.
And black people only 13% of the population. What's the point?
And we're on a decline.
No,
we're on a decline.
We're kind of at zero growth.
We're on a decline. Brother, we're on a decline. See, the Africans would be all right coming into this country, but they don't breed with us. They don't really mate with us. They'll mate with our women if she turns around and give it to them. But mostly their women don't breed with us. The Arab, the old Philistine Arab, he don't breed with us really. He'll get our women, but his woman won't breed. They catch up breeding, they send her back to the old country. They might stone her, who knows? But I do know this right here, that the indigenous people is a prime example on how you get rid of a race. Now, the only reason that they are the 2% that's being counted is from the reservation. Because if it was not the reservation, guess what? They would probably be counted as white in America. The bloodline is too thin. And guess what? America, the black man in America has held the number 2 position. And you got Mike Squalawaki, whatever that Indian Arab name is on the stage, whatever he is. He's more aggressive than Tim Scott. Tim Scott going to change.
He's not indigenous, man. He's an Asian Indian. He's South Asian Indian. He is not indigenous.
I know that, but am I that fast that you can't keep up with me, or you just being sarcastic?
Well, I don't know what. No, I'm just saying I don't know what he has to do with the discussion.
Okay, the discussion is about migration. It's migration.
Well, he's a natural. He's born. He's a U.S. citizen. He was born here.
Okay, he's born, but only one generation out because his mom and dad.
Don't matter. He's still born here.
But hold on. That's cool. See, this is why we ain't gonna get nowhere because you saying it don't matter.
It don't.
Some people come in.
It don't.
Keep on. You know what? When you got a legacy to hold on to, like children and grandchildren, and you got a legacy to hold on to, you want to fight for that. When you don't have a legacy or anything like that to keep your name going on, then you can just get the junk away. Give it away. I don't care. I ain't had nothing in the first place. So what? You take on that type of attitude. And there are people that take on that attitude. And those are the progressive people that fight for this nonsense. Look at Chicago right now. Now, the black, they fighting the wrong fight because they're asking for money for a debt to be paid. And we've been doing that since 1963, okay, when we went to Washington to get our check cash. Check this out, though. They should be saying.
I think Dr. King pointed out that check came back insufficient funds.
Well, same thing. It was bounce check, whatever. Yeah, right. But bounce check. Well, put on some of that greater sound of darkness, that old Love Jones, and you'll feel what you're talking about, man. I got to get out of here. I appreciate the 15 minutes.
I want to thank the sister who brought it to my attention yesterday, that particular song. But yeah, it was because I told them, I said, here's crazy. I was jamming on peanut butter and didn't know it was about peanut butter. So.
Ain't that something? But look, man, I appreciate the 3 minutes of fame you gave me. But that immigration thing, Chicago need to be saying, we want them out of here. Don't be talking about we want our money. They should be saying we want them out of here. Then the funds that are left over, we want to know where they're being dispersed at, because we got the same problem right here. There's a way that you skin the old cat, man. And they just trying to, I don't know what they're doing. They're not going to get nothing. As long as they got them talking about money, the people are exploding all through that area. You see 5 of them got busted for breaking in Macy's the other day. Illegal migrant. They all in Macy's done broke in. If they ever get their hands on some weapons, we might be in trouble for real. And it's headed that way, man. So listen, brother, I appreciate you, okay?
All right. So
that was a good bed for you to talk. So,
all right. You're listening to Community Voice. Phone lines open 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. Caller, I see you. I'm going to grab you right after the break. We'll be right back.
California with me. I'm almost 2,000 miles from my home, sweet home, and 2,000 miles from the arms that bore me. 2,000 miles from my sweet home, Milwaukee. Yeah.
You're inside Community Voice on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
Welcome back to Community Voice. Caller, we thank you for your patience. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Keith and Tia.
Good morning.
Morning.
I don't profess to know that much about immigration and what's going on or who has the right to do this and do that. But I know some governors or whoever it is that took it upon themselves to just send people to different democratic states and leave them with a burden of trying to take care of these immigrants. But my thing is this: who's checking them out? Who's making sure that, number one, we're going to be plagued with so much with the ignorance. Every president has had a shot at trying to do something with immigration, and no one has been successful. And it seemed like to me, just let's say if we wanted to leave Milwaukee, they didn't want any blacks to get out of Milwaukee to go to, let's say, Chicago. Where are they going to start blocking things off so that we can't get out before we even get anywhere near Chicago? What's going to prevent them? I mean, you won't be able to get on the bus, you won't be able to get on the plane, but you can take any kind of road, or if you start walking, someone should stop you at some point before you get way into another state. Like, I don't understand why someone haven't come up with some kind of stopping point for this. But anyway, that's another issue. What's important to us right now is this election that's coming up. And what's very disturbing about it is you have so many uninformed African Americans, and it's scary. But if we don't get serious about one thing, you don't need anybody to push you. All you have to do is look at the facts. Look at where we're headed. Look at what the man that's going to be running against Biden is saying. And please, we're all getting older. How would you like it if your grandkids come to you and say, look, Grandma, you're outdated. I'm not listening to anything else you say because you're too old. Well, I respect age. I respect wisdom. And some folks don't have it. But if you've been using your brain for a number of years, it's still in good shot. But if you haven't been using it and now all of a sudden you want to, now I'm going to be questionable about that. But I think this thing that us worried about Biden, he's done more than Trump has ever thought to do. But I'm not going to get upset because it's going to be what it's going to be. And it seemed like we've had too much of a privilege. And the ones that think that Trump is going to do this big favor for them, as soon as he get finished getting what he wants for them, he's going to step over them and go on to the next person. So I bet we had better be wise. And I want to know, why is it that we can't find a location on Martin Luther King to rent out to have a headquarters for the Democratic Party closer? And some on the outlying areas too.
Let me, I think that you do get to the point where older people need to kind of move out the way. Yeah, no, I believe that because look, my brain acuity is nowhere near what it was. I was just thinking about this the other day when I was 25 years old.
That's a personal problem.
No, it's not a personal problem. It's reality. There's things that you cannot do now because you're older. So the idea that we can do whatever young people do, no, you cannot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You can't.
So I can tell my kid, don't steal, don't lie.
No, I'm talking about in terms of how you think, your ability to be able to do things, your physical stamina. That's very different than a 25 or a 30-year-old. That's what I'm talking about. I think, and then this, what happens is, and I'm not saying this is the case because when you talk about President of the United States, you're talking about a totally different animal. But if you just look back at, let's just keep it on a local level. How many people, when you look at people in church organizations who refuse to give up that position, it's not growing, right?
Okay.
Because the people you need it to grow are looking at you saying that you owe.
Okay, that's right. Some people do have some antiquated ideas. And I'm going to tell you something. You can tell a progressive person because you know what they're doing? They're training a person as they go. They're grooming someone. And we're not doing that. And I think it's very selfish.
Why don't we do it? I think, you
Because
hit it.
you're
You answered it. Yep. I mean, it is, and I understand people who probably had to come up the rough side to get that position, and now they're in the position, they don't feel like they need to give it up. But the reality is that some things you just can't do. And so folks do that, but now it's more about me than it is whatever the cause is, right? But no, there's certain things. I had something that required physical labor. My 18-year-old godson was able to pick up this box with ease, because he's young and strong.
Pete, let me tell you something, man. I'm going to be 74 this year. So I'm a little bit wiser. So I know some jobs that I can do. So I'm going to tell my grandson or my nephews or someone, hey, grab that box of and bring it over here. I'm not even going to attempt to do it because I've done all of that stuff, put my back out, stressed myself out so bad I had to go to the hospital and all this stuff. That made me wiser. Every year, you age in some things. And yes, you have to give that labor part to someone else. But when I get so old that I can't think what's best for my constituents, then it's time for me to get out of it.
But here's the problem with all of my experience, and I agree with you with that wisdom. Sometimes that wisdom gets in the way of people having to take action. Can I use one of Keon's favorite biblical stories when we talk about David and Goliath? When you read the backstory of how Saul and all of the military people who had all these years of wisdom had won battles. Well, now their wisdom got in the way because an action was needed. It wasn't, and that's why young people fight wars and old people don't. Because old people are going to start thinking about, I know what the consequences are. A 20-year-old has no appreciation of what the consequences are.
Okay,
they'll go up the hill.
These are old people that are causing us the problem that we have about wars.
Oh, okay. So old people causes wars, but they don't have to fight them.
There you go. That's why they wouldn't get my grandson. Because number one, in this day and age now, it's gonna go for the body. They're gonna.
And that's why you're hearing young people say "bye boomers," because in some ways we have to be able to. Now, hopefully, you have a transition, right? That you have something where it's orderly transfer of power. Sometimes you just got to force people out because at this point they're not going to move, and in some ways they can hold up the progress of everybody else because they ain't moving.
Now he's already showed you one. You almost had to fire him out of there.
Right.
You get in there again, baby, it's all over. And that's stupid on our part. And the people that are condoning this guy that's running around getting rid of diversity and inclusion, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. When you can go to a company and 5,000 people work there, and maybe there's 125 people of color, and yet a white person would say, well, that black guy made me lose my job because of affirmative action. No, you didn't. Go talk to them other 5,000 white kids out there.
Yeah, I you're right. I was just thinking because I think Bakke was also decided. I'm trying to think when Bakke was the affirmative action case, and so that came on the heels of Roe v. Wade. But the same thing, and if everybody know about the Bakke case, it basically outlawed quotas when it came to hiring in schools, right?
Yeah, that's all pretty sad to me. And I'm going to tell you the next thing. All of us good Christian people that think that we're so righteous and this, that, and the other, and we want to save the babies. When I got the opportunity to listen to these women that have suffered because of the foolishness, and when you go to the hospitals now, they're short nurses, they're short doctors, they're short specialists that do these MRI testing and all this stuff. Why? Because they've been so disrespected. And here we are, the United States. Nurses are being transported in to work in these hospitals. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, but that's how a lot of Filipinos get here because there were a lot of Filipino nurses who were coming in. I want to say in the 90s and the 2000s. So yeah, we've always had to bring in folks. But why is that? That's because, and I was thinking about this with the whole student loan piece. When when I was in college and you applied for student financial aid, there was something called the Defense Student Loan Program. And that was administered. It was a grant that came through the Defense Department. Well, it was used for college. After World War II, America had made a commitment that we would have the best educated folks in the world, specifically in math and science, because of the Cold War, right? And so you saw all these sources paying, basically, because you could really go, when I was coming along, if you did it right, depending on where you live, you might have maybe $1,000 in student loans for a year, because of all the grant money that was available. And part of that was because we were investing in our education, especially when it came to technology, because we were competing with the then Soviet Union. Certain things happened. The Cold War ends, and they allow banks to get involved with student loans. In the past, you got a student loan or went to a bank because your income was so high you didn't qualify for federal student loans or federal grants, right? So then the family would go to the bank. Now, most student loans, you go through the bank, and the difference was that you started paying your student loans back with interest 12 months after your last day of school or your graduation date. Interest now starts when you sign the loan application.
What?
Yes. So that's where, when you're talking about the student debt, that's because of the rates that they're charging and the fact that you started from day one. I would have gone 4 years and then a 5th year before the interest even started on the debt. But now the debt, as soon as you sign it, it's like you buying a house, it's like you buying a car. You get, if you're financing it, you got the principal, and then you have the interest.
I guess something, and some of my friends have made some serious mistakes. But I thought some of their loans must be different because they turn around and go right back to school. Now she's getting her doctorate. And as long as you keep going to school, you don't have to pay on that loan because you get into forbearance
or deferment. Yep.
Deferment or whatever that deal is. And so is the interest being accrued while you're in this deferment?
Yes, because you got the debt.
Oh, wow.
That's the killer. That you're not, that it's the interest on the debt. But when did the interest start? When did you start? Because already now you're doubly behind the 8 ball because it started as soon as you signed that loan.
Right.
So and letting private banks get into it. I push back on my Republican friends who always feel like, we should do a business model. I don't think education is based on a business model. Education is based on a pedagogy model. How can we get the best educated group of people in the country?
Well, now I'm going to tell you something. People, and I think it's unfair to get the trades coupled against the doctors, saying, well, if I could pay for my loan, you should be able to pay for yours. Don't do that crap.
Yeah, and I think but that was by design when you had certain people going out basically pitting the educated against the uneducated. It wasn't the people who might have gone to college, who might have gotten a student loan, who was against student loan forgiveness. It was the people who never went to college, who might have went to the military, right? And so they're saying, why? Well, I made a choice and you made a choice. Yeah, but I made a choice where the deck was pretty much stacked against me already going into the equation. But yeah, that's, if you look at the divide right now, it is non-college educated people who have a real problem with any kind of loan for student loan forgiveness. Because in their minds, you took it out, you should be able to pay for it.
I know, and the sad reality is this. Those trades are good, they're making good money, and then you know what they do? When the blacks say, I can make this kind of money, then what do? They shut the door on you getting into the union.
But the only problem that you have now is that the population that the trade unionists came from is decreasing. Their kids are not necessarily going into the trades, right? And I think the other piece of it was when we were in school, they used to have, and MPS never admitted this, but they did. It was called a tracking system, right? So they could go in and look at your Iowa Basic, your Stanford Binet Basic test scores, those IQ tests that you take. And then they would go like, you know what, Keith is probably better on this mechanical track.
That's why some of the teachers tell kids,
right. They had a track. So then you're doing shop, you're doing all these things. You're not necessarily taking classes that's going to prepare you to go to a 2-year or 4-year school. That you're on a track where you're going to go into the trades. Now that's good, because what we found out was the trades were lucrative. But if you're black, you just can't go into the trades because of the racism that was part of these trade unions, right? So that's why they had to start Big Step. Because
let me tell you the neat thing about those trades, because I have a brother-in-law that was in the trade. You could go anywhere in the United States and work. If you stop and talk to some of these guys out here, I bet you a good 70% of them don't even live anywhere in this area. They could be from California, they could be from Minnesota, anywhere around. And we have people that are trying to get jobs right here.
Well, do you think that? I mean, do you really believe that there are people beating down doors trying to get a job as a drywaller, trying to get a job?
This is what I
basic laborers, I don't know. If they are, they're immigrants.
It was during the summer. It was very hot out. Here these African American guys, they just chit chat and everything, and gold chain on and all that. I said, shut up and get to work. But I got classes. They was like, who was that?
Yeah, I mean, So when I hear people saying they're gonna take jobs from Americans, let's be particular and let's be honest that there are a lot of people who don't just see themselves working that job. They'll see themselves out there holding the flag in 90-degree weather for $25
an hour.
Right, making $25 an hour. But they have no problem sitting on their porch doing absolutely nothing in 95-degree heat and doing that for free.
But I tell you right now, though, Keith, it's a little scary holding that flag the way they drive now.
Oh, I got that. But you're getting paid pretty good money to stand someplace.
Yeah, that is true. Thank you for listening to me. Get out and vote, people. It's important. Don't let nobody talk you out of it. You see how important it is.
Right. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. And I think that's what we need to keep saying. And then for all our arts and culture people, I think you need to be able to pick that one up too. I know a lot of people, oh man, ain't down for the politics. And okay, you don't have to be down where you have to go in and work and be partisan. You have to go work for a candidate. But I think that who's ever listening to you, whoever follows you, and you're an influencer, you need to encourage people to vote. You do. I'm not for me to tell you, I know you grown, you do what you want to do, but I was listening to this poem, just read it the other day. Can't use it because of the profanity in it, but it was the last poets when the revolution comes. And they go down on everything that's going to happen, what we need to do the revolution. And then the last stanza says, nah, because you know what? And they use the N-word. Said niggas are going to be partying and BSing. And it was, and I'm trying to think of the rap group who didn't use that. We're going to be partying BSing, actually using the actual term. But yeah, I mean, we can't, I know, and I get all frustrated. I got to get a new word. I got to get a new life. I get all frustrated because all these so-called deep people, you just above the fray. Come on, man. Sister, you got a responsibility. You have a societal responsibility. So all this, the man and all your conspiracies and da-da-da-da-da-da, and it ain't about this, and it ain't going to make a difference. That is the biggest lie. It's something Keon says all the time. He said, what's the biggest trick of the devil? Making you believe that the devil doesn't exist. Biggest trick of the devil. And so a lot of times we sit up here saying this stuff don't matter. That's the trick. To make you believe that it doesn't matter. But it's what the sister just said. If it doesn't matter, why are they spending so much time and effort trying to figure out how or prevent you from voting? Come on, y'all.
Also to not believe that you part of the biggest voter block out there, the one that don't vote. And it matters because the more you it is, the more of the ones that do vote.
And millennials are going to be key in this presidential election. They really hold the key. But they also have some of the lowest voter participation of any group. So How do you increase the voter? So when we sit up here partying, everybody getting down and we do da-da-da-da-da, make sure you drop a message. But dude, you need to go vote. If you're off of paper, especially in Wisconsin, go vote. Go vote. I mean, it you can't have it both ways. That's me. Caller, welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning and happy Monday. It sounds like psychological and mental warfare is real. I never could understand when people get with immigration. Now, y'all know that it's all about the skin color and hair. All right? They're not going to give you none of that stuff you're looking for, respect, because you already have the master key. You just got to change the low vibration that some black people have for one another. Now, we understand when they come over here, they work together. They all might live in a house, they pay the bills, things like that.
But Al, when we came up here from Mississippi, we did the same thing.
And with 2024, and this is a different grade of black people.
Well, what I'm saying is that any recently entered group, that's what you did. I got cousins. They got up here because another cousin was up here. They stayed in the same house till they were able to get their own house. That's just makes common sense if because you got to take care of the clan first. But black people did that and probably are still doing that.
Well, from what I see in my neighborhood and from what I see on how I hear black people think, talk and speak, if it's not about my convenience, it's F that nigga, or they say, if it ain't about my convenience, or if it's not serving me a purpose, or this mentality, if I'm nice and kind to you, somebody's getting over, that's working against the black community. Yes, it is. I know a lot of people don't want to admit it, but it is. And then the other thing is, why do black people keep looking for respect? Why keep looking for respect?
Respect is not important to you? Is respect important to you?
Absolutely. As long as you don't put your hands on me.
No, but respect is important to you, so that's why we're looking for it. We all want respect.
Looking for respect, which you are entitled to, is looking like for somebody to welcome and accept you. I don't need it. I don't even need respect or be accepted by Jesus, let the truth be told. Just stay out my way and let me do what I need to do.
I think you use a key word there, acceptance. Because acceptance is different than respecting me. Like I accept you. No, you have to respect my existence. Don't accept my existence.
And then if this thing we're gonna be outpopulated. Number one, black people like to have sex too much. They ain't gonna be replaced. Let's get that out the way. All right. Then the abortion. Y'all need to stop that because some of y'all ain't taking care of your kids anyway. So even if they did have some of them kids, y'all ain't taking care of them. Look at them outside babies y'all had on your wives. But the moral of the story is we got to change this low vibration because the jobs the immigrants doing, black people are not going to do. They make their own jobs. And black people can do it as well. But you got to change your mind, thought, and process. Maybe we can start by picking the paper up in the neighborhood. And maybe we can start by people raising their kids while they laying in bed sounding like cartoons and the kids out here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning costing homeowners money. Because I feel like this. If you can get on TV and sue people about making cars, you can get on TV and tell these people, if you don't raise them, I'm going to make sure I cage them. But see, sometimes we don't want to be honest with each other because I guess that's too much right. But then when the white man comes in, everybody want to get on their good foot. So that same determination, dedication you use in Sunday in that house, put it in your own people. You won't be worried about immigration. Have a good day.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I don't know. Well, there are a lot of people out here in the world that we live in, and I might be one of these people, where you want to be liked. I don't know anybody out here who don't want to be liked. The question is, even though I might want to be liked, if I'm doing what is right and just, I probably won't be liked. It goes along with the territory, right? But to act as if human beings don't want to be liked, that we don't want to be felt like we valued, I mean, that's where we get, I think, I'm not a sociologist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but that's where failure to thrive comes from, when you cut off social contact and positive social contact with a child. That child could die, failure to thrive. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. How you doing, Coach?
I don't know why you yelling at me, mate. What's happening?
Oh, I'm sorry, because it's hard to hear you.
Happy New Year.
I'm sorry.
Is this Todd?
Yes, it is.
Happy New Year, man.
Hey, same to you, boss. Coach, should I say. I just called to say good morning. I've been listening and all that good stuff.
Good.
And so I don't have a comment. I just called to say hello to you and Keon.
Morning,
And it is what it is.
Yeah, this is my guy here. Oh, Todd, what's happening, man?
Hey, man, loving me and loving the world and loving life.
Okay, y'all still want to do that reunion?
Oh, with the Hoopers?
Yeah, with the Hoopers.
Wow, it's tough, man. We're 50 in our 50s now. 50,
Which is crazy, right? Which is crazy because you guys would have been. Let's see. I just graduated from college, and you all were like middle
12,
schoolers.
13.
I think, I got you in the 6th grade.
Yeah.
But you were a year younger. You're younger than John, right? John and
yeah, I'm right behind.
Right,
It's just
right.
my academics were.
But actually, no. But you know what though? That was, in terms of the IQ on that team, that was a pretty smart team. I mean, you had some dudes who, they weren't the greatest students in the world, but they were very, very, very bright dudes, and you could see that based on just the complicated offense and defenses that we ran. Y'all was smart enough to get it.
Those plays and all that stuff. Blue. All that.
Marquette.
Yeah, I remember those plays.
Oh man, Marquette Wing Series, free throw line extended. You know what? And people that was the it was UCLA Marquette. That still is a popular offense that people run when they're moving the ball. But it was always, now it's not just free throw line extended, because now it's 3-point line extended, right?
Oh yes, sir. Understood.
That you're able to operate where, we'd always started free throw line extended. We ran the same offense when I was in high school. I mean, it was just like you start there. But that was, I think it was UCLA. I know Marquette made it popular in terms of winging the ball around, but then there was also getting it in the post.
Absolutely.
Which is gone now. The post players are gone, man.
The big boys play on the outskirts.
On the outside, you don't have a jumper, you ain't playing. I'm just saying, man, if you can't, and if you don't have mobility, be able to like move and take your man out. But you see more and more, because back in the day, Al McGuire had a real problem with Bo Ellis, because Bo Ellis is what, 6'10", 6'11", and he wanted to shoot outside. And he's like, no, get your big behind on the basket. Like, dude, that ain't my game. I tell you somebody else, man. And I wonder, I don't know if he's listening. I wonder what his game would be. No. I wonder, people listening. I wonder what Odell's game, would Odell Ball has shot the 3-point shot. Because Odell has such a beautiful jumper, but I wonder would he had shot the 3-pointer. I don't know if he's listening. 414-444-5252.
Hey, listen, Keith.
Yep.
Hey, listen, I just want to say one thing. Shout out to Jordan Love. November 12th, I said we'll be all right with Jordan Love.
Yeah.
And look where we ended up.
Yep.
And so I've been summoned by my wife. She on my butt.
All right, man. Hey, give my best to
your
mom,
y'all.
too. Yep, give me best, because I haven't seen her.
Yes, sir.
Tell her to say hello. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. That's my guy, Todd Brewer. Yeah, it's interesting how I got this basketball team and then how they ended up becoming champions. I worked for MPS, so during the summer, our avenue was the playground that I worked on. And during the school year, Ben Franklin was the social center that I worked at. And so Bob Rush was putting together a basketball league, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. No, 5th and 6th graders and 7th and 8th graders down at North Division. And, he was part of MPS Rec. So why don't you get a team together? So we had a little league there. And so I was able, we didn't do tryouts. I just watched the kids play in the intramural. And then I was able to say, oh, he would be good. He would be good. He would be good. And that's how I ended up putting together that team. And even though they were undersized, they were able to compensate based on their basketball acumen. It was, man, they were just a great group of. Out of all the people I coached, they were the funnest, if there's such a word. They were the funnest group to coach because they got it. They worked hard. And even though we got cheated over at LaVarn Way, we still were champions. Caller, welcome to the program.
Yes. Good morning.
JT.
Good morning, Mr. Keith Parris.
JT. Happy New Year.
Hey, beginning. Happy New Year to you, sir. Hey, Keith.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. The reason why, if you don't mind, I'd like to be visited with you and one of your callers called in. I called her Mrs. OK, and we was talking about the age thing and how we should get out the way when we feel our cognitive abilities probably be missed.
Right.
And you had mentioned something about the military. And you know me. You know who I am, where I come from. But Keith, I hear the music. You want to go to commercial? I can hold on for a second.
I don't hear any music.
The music is in your head.
I don't hear any music.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna keep on running. Yeah, I heard it, Keon. I'm gonna mess with you in a second, Keon. I'm gonna get back at you, Keon, real quick. But anyway, Keith, just my military experience, sir. You're absolutely right. The young men, we're out there in the battlefield. But guess who gives the orders? They call generals and admirals. How old do you think they are? Or could be? I would say 60, 70 years old because I was there. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate what you're saying, Keith, about when we get to a certain age, sometimes physically, you may not be able to do what we used to do when we was in our 20s and stuff. But when it comes to our cognitive abilities, you'll be surprised how many people in their 90s is more smarter and and alert than a whole lot of people in their 40s. So, Keith, I'm just saying, sir, yeah, we was in the battlefield, but the ones was getting the orders, they was in their 60s and 70s, and they was called generals and admirals.
Right. Because to be a general at 50, you're young. You're a young general.
Thank you.
And that's by design. I mean, now, even in the Catholic Church now, I think cardinals have to retire at 70 or 75. See the retirement
I don't know
age.
about that.
Yeah, they do that. Now, the Pope doesn't. The Pope is exempt from that. But the Cardinals, I think it's like either 70 or 75.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of that, sir. I'm just talking about the military and how people can do when they get to a certain age, i.e. the President Biden and stuff like that. People saying because of his age, he can't be liable or viable. That's not true. If your brain, if you kept your brains up and it's still sharp and stuff like that, you can still dictate responsibly and honestly to do that.
Right. And I think the retirement age for a cardinal is 75.
Oh, is it? Okay, so you won't go back there again?
No, I'm just saying that there's some groups out there that do mandatory retirement. You get to the point, and then you have to, because it physically, and I know in our minds, we believe that we can still do stuff, but physically we cannot. That's okay.
Physically we cannot.
That's why we make babies.
Right. That's the whole issue. Physically, obviously, we mature as we age, and something we can't do physically. But it doesn't mean that our brains are still not sharp.
Right.
That's my point.
No,
I just want to say that real quickly, sir. But thank you for this still being there. And hey, Keon.
Yo.
I just want to say thank you, sir, because I know you're not doing the man show anymore. I know it's your personal choice. I just want to say thank you for the 7 years, and thank you for the time you invited me to the man show. And Keon, I do miss it. So, Keon, I just want to say thank you very much for the man show.
Yes, sir.
My young brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, and thank you, Mr. Keith Parris.
Oh, thank you, JT. Good hearing your voice, man. Thank you.
Yeah, clean up on aisle 6. There are agreements and disagreements. So I'm not gonna sit here and take the whole brunt of it was on me that the man show isn't. I'm just gonna put that out there. So
sometimes you don't have to say anything.
Well, you do when people think that, because there's a lot of people that think that. Because I heard the tapes and it was put out there that it was just mental stress and stuff. So we'll leave it there. Phone your request in if that's what you want. Hey.
For God's sake, you got to give more
Power to the people. Yeah. The door. There's a secretary out there. Get the door.
Can you get the door? I don't know.
Keep doing stuff he ain't got no business doing. Just look out the window. That's all
I
you
saw
supposed
somebody
to do.
outside the window,
Well,
man.
that's what they got a secretary for.
Yeah.
Close the dock or something.
I don't know if the outside door was locked.
Yeah. Doing too much.
All right. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, welcome back.
I'm calling in my request. I want the man show to be back again.
Because you was in the commercial.
Oh, you hear I hate? Oh, that was bogus. You got a hater pastor. Oh, you talking about because you was in the commercial.
What?
He gonna say that's only because you was in the commercial. Oh, he lousy. See, you gotta watch out for them folks, sister. Ooh. That's why my name is Ricky Ticky.
I know you want it back.
Why?
He said because you was in the commercial.
You was in the commercial. It is promo.
I didn't even think of it.
I know he's a lot. Remember, I said my name is Ricky Ticky Taffy, so I can eat cobras and snakes like that.
Oh man.
Yes. Okay.
You know something? The man show shines a light in a lot of things. A lot of those brothers that were doing things back in the day owned up to their stuff and they're doing things that I run into them in the neighborhood, in the community, and they're doing great things. So I hope, even though the man show is not on, that you brothers are still teaming together.
Oh yeah, yes indeed. We still working. We're still working.
Because believe it or not, and listen, they were listening to you too. I can tell you one thing that I know for a fact. They love listening to us and they steal ideas from us, and they've been doing it for years. So maybe doing things in a different way, but every now and then, Keith could have something or just invite the men to come out. But I still think that you should have a spot. And you know what somebody needs to think about? When I was growing up, there was a night, at night, like 7 to 9, they had talk shows like you guys have like me. And when people are sitting down, really engaged and sitting down, and you have your older kids at home, it might give more input. You might get more people involved from 9 to 10, a talk show. So y'all should think about that.
Yeah.
A talk show from 9 to 11?
414-44.
No, I said from 9 a.m. till 10.
414-444. 449-5490. That's the office number. 414-449-5490. And I say that, and it's not a plea for me, but I'm just correcting a little bit of misinformation. You know what I'm saying? And so when the public wants to speak, that's where you call and be heard at and make your request as you see fit. And one thing I notice a lot of times in our community, and we wonder what's wrong because we play together, but then when things go down, we don't come together. So if that's what the people won't, speak on it. Don't just speak to me about it, because me speaking about it is just me whining and fussing. They need to know how the listeners feel and what they feel. And if that's what y'all want, that's 449-5490. Call it and talk to management about that, and do what you do with whatever you want. Because, people texting me and calling me, I'm just going to be like, hey, because me talking about it is the reason it is what it is. So, if I don't, it's just like when we send people to office, we elect people to represent us, but then we don't follow them and fight the fight with them. So that's all I'm gonna really say about that. I just needed to correct that information.
I hope they're listening. I'm going to do that, 449-5490. But
and let them know it's not because you was on the promo, like Keith said.
Oh,
because Keith lousy.
That is so small-minded.
Because it's Keith. Keith is small-minded.
Who brought it up? A very small-minded person. And that's my buddy, too. Now, get that mind out of there.
Come on, man. You're going to make my mind bigger. What's wrong with y'all? That's a little brave. Appreciate you. Thank you. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Boy. I don't even know what to make of. Wow. Hey, I shouldn't say hey. Sorry. Eric, you didn't hear me. Um, you know, I mentioned earlier that there's been 25,000 fatalities in the Gaza in Gaza, and right now there are people who are pushing for a two-state solution there, as relates to Israel and the Palestinians, and Netanyahu has rejected it out of hand. And then I found out that there were things like where they were um, collecting taxes, from Palestinians, and the Israelis wouldn't allow them access to the money that was their money. So if people want to, we've gotten to the point 1,700 people died on October the 7th. 25,000 people have died since October the 7th, Palestinian people. And we're not even mentioning all the suffering that's happening there in terms of starvation, access to medical care. They're talking about the number of women now that they're having to do cesarean, it's a cesarean section. Because they don't have the hospital stuff it's it's an humanitarian crisis. And we're kind of, because we're up here dealing with the buffoonery, there's the word, buffoonery of Donald Trump and others, that, we're missing that great pain and carnage that's happening right now in Israel and particularly in Gaza. All right, you listen to Community Voice. Caller, I see you. I'm going to grab you right after the break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning, Keith. Good morning, Keon.
Good morning.
What up, T?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, I just called in. Just feeling kind of sad this morning in regards to the lives that are already being took in our community. And the one that came across my mind was the guy that delivered the pizza. And those 3 teenagers took his life. And, you know, we got to do better. And for the people that's listening, please pass on to your families. Get more connected with your family members. Talk to your family members. Know what your family members are. I don't care how old they are. Get involved in some activity with your family members. Teach them to people. Teach them how to love people. Teach them how to respect people. Teach them how to turn around and walk away. But most of all, you know, we have lost this here great man, and we also have lost 3 young African-American men. That's a lot on both ends. Let's do better. I love you all. Thank you.
Appreciate you. 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. We still have a few minutes left. I was talking to caller. Welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hey, brother, I had to call you back because I had time to check something out. It was the Irish was one of the first big deportation in the 1852 to 1824 to 1822, something like that. That was the first deportation of the Irish. But then when we talking about the 30s, I had that date mixed up because you said the Irish hadn't been deported. But they were the first ones that came in here taking over like crazy. They were deported. Then in the 30s, they started deporting Mexicans back. And if you look real careful at that, man, you will see the same thing happening now. Now, one thing Donald Trump did say, that it will be the largest deportation America's ever seen. I don't know if he can handle, if he'll be able to do that. And it's going to be a real fight. And if it becomes a civil war on American soil because these people don't want to go back home, they've staked their flags in our in the earth here in America, and I don't think they're going back without a fight because really, when you got people that buy property that are not legal here, they're putting stake in your land, in your property. They're putting their stake in American soil by saying, I own this piece of property. Now, one host said, well, what about Djokovic and all of them? Well, those are big bank industries that are legally able to do this. These people that are coming in here that are assuming mortgages that have been left behind by other immigrants or quit claiming deeds over to other immigrants that have left the country, made them living. What did you say?
No, I was clearing my throat. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we have to realize that this is all we got, and we must protect it. And somebody might say, what you mean this is all we got? Negro, white boy, this is all you got. Okay? You ain't got nowhere else to go. So what you playing? Then when I hear the older people call in, which I do respect, I really do. They got to really do something mean to me for me to just be mean. And then I'm still not going to be, vulgar. But listen, these are the people that are keeping us with this mindset and keeping our people, black people, behind, down. They just keeping us down, man. And we got generations that's following this. Those migrants that were sent back in the 1800s, I just read that because it had refreshed in my mind, so I had to go back and reread it. Those people, some of them people have been deported that have been in this country for 40 years. They had to go. They had been in there for 4 decades, 40 years. They had to go. Now, can you imagine what can open up for us if these people get sent back? Man, properties, rents will drop. Everything will just, hey man, it will be. I'm thinking it will be a paradise, in this country if these people would go, man. And folks would have to pick up the pieces and work. They would have to. They'd have to go to work. They have to. And there's a lot of jobs out there that we want that we can't get for something as simple as this. Go to your temporary service and see how many blacks that are sitting on the lunch table waiting to be called when the Mexicans is going out every day. They got it. They treating it like real employment. Guess what? The blacks don't even get a chance to go out unless a Mexican ain't coming to work. White folk own the temporary services, but Mexicans is running it. And that's all about trickle down through the Reaganomics. That's how they really began to boom during the Reaganomics years, these temporary services. And wasn't nobody working them but blacks. That was how Reagan was trickling down the money through the temporary service, So now look, it has grown into a huge monster, and look who's running it all over the country. Not us.
All right. I don't know if you noticed or not, but Senator Tim Scott, Republican, South Carolina, is engaged to be married.
Listen, to a white woman. Now, let me say this to you about Tim Scott.
Mindy knows.
Right. Let me tell you something about Tim Scott. Tim Scott has got to change, and the Republicans he ain't gonna have no chance of being a VP because his message is getting old now. You can't keep getting on the stage saying this is not a black America or a white America. This is the America. You can't keep saying that, especially if you're gonna run as a VP and you got to come and get down dirty with us black folk. We don't want to hear that. We know what it is, but we don't want to hear that because when you do that, it sounds like you're bidding for somebody that most black people feel as though they've been oppressed. So he got to change his story. And while he was saying that with the endorsement of Donald Trump, I guess he could have got away with it up there because that he was pandering to that base that really want to believe racism.
So he's 58 years old. No, and I'm just saying. And all these years, all of a sudden, it just dawned on him, or maybe he just had been waiting on the right woman to come along.
Man, he probably been getting that with white girls all the time. Come on, man, coming out of the South. I mean,
I don't know if he was getting. I think if he was getting with white girls, we would have known about it.
No. See, look here. Let me tell you some guys like him and Obama. We got a squeaky clean record on Obama because Obama could put on a pair of gym shoes and a baseball cap, you understand me, and jump in an old trap car and go down on Cicero and have a girl of his choice in Chicago. She never even know she dated him. So, the media wasn't going to follow that senator in the places that he go. Okay, he go into some real dark.
So what's next? Is Lindsey Graham going to meet the love of his life and he going to get married too?
Well, maybe he get married to a black woman. I don't know.
Not to say that U.S. senators from the great state of California. Well, hold on, because I'm just saying, Strom Thurmond loved black women. So what can I tell you?
They all do. Look at the girl, the DA down there in Fulton County. She getting accused for getting with the DA, the head man. And I can imagine a big old girl like that. She's
No. She's his boss.
Yeah, but she's fooling with him. She's taking advantage of him.
Oh, poor Fonnie. Poor Fonnie.
Hey, guess what? Hey, look here. The white boy love it too, don't he?
No. That's a brother.
I thought that was a white boy.
No, Fonnie Willis was. No, you look at that brother. That's a brother. I just think that timing is everything, and the fact that he was going through a divorce, and then they start their relationship, and then because of the. They were able then to subpoena financial records because of the divorce.
Oh, they've been spending money. The boy been spending money, going on trips and everything. He been doing his thing, man. But listen to this here. What I'm thinking is that she should have recused herself of that Donald Trump thing because if it was something there, it's just gonna be thrown out, man. It's gonna be messed up. Because
I don't know and I agree. I think most of the legal folks are saying it's not going to have any impact on the legal case. The issue is going to be the perception and the legitimacy. That people are already questioning the legitimacy of the charging Now they're going to use her personal life as a reason to say you should. I don't know what legal reason they have because she's having a relationship with a coworker. How that would then impact on what's going on with the case.
Integrity, her honesty, man.
But it's also her privacy.
But hold on. But guess what? Most of our integrity, most of us are dishonest in privacy anyway.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, who I kick it with is my private business. The only reason why it's public is because of the divorce proceeding, which then made a lot of this information public record.
Well, I'll be totally honest with you. We don't do a lot of our private life publicly anyway. Most of our dishonest integrity is private. So and then
as well it should be. I gotta go, Beach.
Okay,
I gotta go, bro.
Okay. But it was Irish. It was Irish.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you, man. Hey, let me thank Keon. Let me thank Michelle Carvey. Thank you. Keep going. Keep talking. Let me thank everybody. So Tim Scott is going to. What the man? Boy. Oh man. Oh boy. Oh my God. Okay. I don't understand, but look, I got married. So if I get married, anybody can get married. Okay. Just say it, man. You know, oh my God. Tim Scott. Oh man. Again, let's see what Lindsey Graham does. All right. I want to thank everybody for being part of the program today. The good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And I got to keep going. All right, I got another 2 minutes. But he is a traditional man. He did go to her parents and ask for their blessing to get married. Seeing that this is her second marriage and she got 3 kids, I think that horse is out the barn. What? Right. You know, like you got to ask her parents. Huh. Wow. I don't remember asking Mr. Benny and Mother Davis whether or not I could marry their daughter. I don't remember that. Okay. Can I go now? Okay. All right. Oh man, this dude. Yes, sir.
I almost had it, man.
Yeah, you did. You was
so right
close.
on the money. The Packers gave that game away, man. I mean, you know, between Jordy and that kicker who should be looking for a job this morning.
Him and the kicker at Buffalo. Him and Mr. Bass.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That game would have at least went into overtime because I would have tied it up.
Yeah, all Frisco could have done was tied it up. Had he?
Yeah.
So
that's
well, look, man, they really played above.
They was playing with the house's money anyway.
Oh, man, you can't. And the fact that it was so competitive, all these games were competitive this weekend, which is kind of a rarity because usually you have one blowout. But no, the Packers.
That doggone Mahomes, man, I just thought for sure we'd get rid of him this time around. He pulled it out again.
Buffalo can't beat Kansas City, and Green Bay can't beat San Francisco.
Buffalo can't seem to get back to a Super Bowl and then have a legitimate shot at winning.
But then, 4 straight years and you don't win a Super Bowl? How you do that?
Yeah.
And they considered the greatest team never to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All those Hall of Famers on that team.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, Keon, thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you for your assistance.
For your assistance. Hey, man.
Let the church say,
See
hey,
ya.
Debo, you talk to folks in there?
Who them?
These. Go ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see everybody tomorrow.
Father,